Erika Ishii is a modern day legend. There is no better example, in my personal opinion, of non-binary finery than Erika Ishii themselves. In this video, we're going to be covering the best bits of Ishii. We're going to be looking at the response to them from the modern day gamer gay and the pathetic attempts at the right wing to downplay Erika's excellence. Without further ado, let's take a look at why we all love Erika Ishii. Hello and welcome to Matriarchetype. I will be your goddess for today because we are talking about the legend that is Erika Ishii. Now, he is gender fluid and she has an array of different voice acting history that we're going to cover today, but I mainly know them from Game Changer and the Dropout world. Many of you found my channel and came here from the deep dive I did on Brennan Lee Monaghan and why he is just such an example of wholesome masculinity. So today we're going to flip the script. We're going to take another one of the magical cast members of Dropout. We're going to focus on Erika Ishii. I didn't really know much about him until I looked into them, and I knew them from the Dimension 20 situation, which we're going to cover. They were in Seven, Magic and Misfits. There's a whole bunch of them. Some I'm still watching now and some I've already seen before. But then I looked into her and she's fully she's been acting for years now. She's been in voice acting and voiceover roles, way more than I had known. So we're going to cover some of that, and we're going to also look at some of the hilarious attempts from the right to kind of downplay them and kind of dunk on them, and how honestly it made me laugh for the opposite reasons, because some of these attempts were so basic. So this is my video as to why Erika Ishii is a fantastic antidote to modern day misogyny. Let's start with the right-wing attempts at attacking Erika Ishii and who they are as a person. The first one I came across was Smash JT, I believe. Absolutely mediocre white man syndrome, bringing nothing to the table. But some of his critiques on them was just pure, but kind of hilarious for the wrong reasons. Now, if any of you have seen the clip of Erika Ishii eating the popcorn while he's waiting for the results of the award to happen, epic, iconic. Amazing, no? And have you seen the shot of them doing the high kick in the slow-mo thing? We just love to see it. There are a few. I will throw them in here sporadically.
Ghost of Yotei was at the Game Awards for, I think, one or two nominations. It left with 0 wins. But we got some good memes out of it with Erika Ishii, who eats like a freaking sloth. And honestly, just on appearance alone, looks like she really let herself go. And I genuinely wonder if the stress and pressures of the life that she's been living is starting to get to her.
To me, I see that as someone left-leaning, someone who's pro-LGBT and pro-feminism. I see that as just purely iconic. It's she's not adhering to female stereotypes that are put onto her, especially as someone that's gender fluid.
How many seconds can you do a keg stand?
I don't know what that is.
And break. Here we go! You got it! You got it, Erika! I believe in you!
Why should a femme presenting person have to be quiet? Why should they have to eat delicately? What is this, the Victorian era?
Is Erika Ishii insufferable? I don't even need to hear what she's saying.
Yeah, boy!
This is such an insufferable person. Just with that. And we're going to dive in and we're going to listen to this insufferable person. You guys tell me, what do you think about Erika Ishii?
Blueprints!
Okay. I'm tapping out. I can't do this.
Keep it going, Erika.
Oh! Yeah! That was the reserves.
And this smash JT's archaic opinion of how women in society should act honestly felt like it came smack out of some kind of like the Daily Wire documentary. It was like Ben Shapiro was to the left of him, be like, yes, I agree. Women should also always look accordingly and dress correctly.
There's so many pictures of her. They're just awful. Like, she's just ugly. I'm not even trying to be rude. I'm just like, she's just ugly. I don't know what you're supposed to, like, are you supposed to, like, not acknowledge that she's just not good looking?
Erika Ishii to me is also someone that's gender fluid. It's like, there should be absolutely no expectation of him to have to adhere to female stereotypes, even if we want to still pretend that they exist, which they don't. Women can do what they want, men can do what they want, anyone can do what they want. Erika Ishii should also be secondary to that.
What was I doing?
Erika!
But Smash JT makes every attempt to pretend that he doesn't understand what non-binary even means.
Ghost Yotei also earned Ishii a personal Golden Joystick nomination for Best Performance. Oh, she didn't win it? I know, you're shocked. And when they were asked, is this one of those pronoun things? It's so obnoxious. Please stop with this shit. And when they were asked on the red carpet which game they thought, this is so confusing when there's two people and you use the word they talking about one person. Stop this shit.
Side note, as well as my normal coffee today, we have a strawberry and cucumber sparkling water drink. It's really hydrating. So in his veiled attempt at pretending he can't understand they them pronouns, it just shows how delicate this worldview is. Like, there is a difference between disliking the fact that there are non-binary people in the world, and to me that's also pathetic, but then there's like going out of your way to kind of pretend that that doesn't exist, because at the very least we have to understand that some people are non-binary, like as a phenomenon in the world. They exist on the planet. We can't just pretend that, like, if you disagree with that, that's one thing, but we can't just pretend they don't exist. Or people that do amaze me in an entirely different way, let's say. It's like being like, I dislike dogmatic religions. I can't pretend they don't exist. Like, there are Christian extremists are all around me. I'm not going to wake up and be like, Christian? Jesus. Now, I will come back to Ghost of Yotei, but I did make it a point to say there were awards won for Ghost of Yotei. Like, it won DICE Outstanding Achievement Character in 2026. Erika Ishii themselves won Best LGBTQ+ VA Actor and Best LGBTQ+ Character in Gaming Awards for Dragon Age The Veilguard. So we see this veiled attempt to just pretend like they don't win any awards, they've got no talent, they're terrible, but they are an award-winning, celebrated VA actor. So, like, that took me a quick Google on the Wikipedia. Like, it's not hard if you want to actually be truthful. Again, we're seeing the right-wing lie. It's not too shocking, or selecting different information at best. Erika Ishii first started their career as early as 1992 when they played a character in Full House. So they're not shy in front of the cameras as well as behind the recording microphone. But they more started their kind of film and TV career later in 2018, with TV then in 2021. But they've been doing game VO since 2017, and some of the games that they've been in, honestly, I hadn't even known myself, but he's been in quite a few games. I had to write them down, so forgive me for reading out, but I didn't know this, but she was in Apex Legends, Guild Wars 2, Call of Duty, which is kind of hilarious, Dragon Age The Veilguard, which I think is quite a big one. So they have a huge backlog of working in voice acting. They even played the Sailor Juno character in Sailor Moon Eternal, which is just awesome to know as well. So just, there's such a great backlog of all of Erika Ishii's work that I also can't help but wonder, should they have a lot more prestige and respect as what they do in the industry? And is there, female expressing gender, the reason that they get less, accolade and respect for what they have achieved? And would someone with the same CV, the same working history that was masculine presenting, have a little bit more respect and status within the industry? I can't help but wonder. So if you saw any of their shorts as anything other than iconic, to me it's just disappointing. It's such a waste to inflict such hyperfeminine expectations on someone that is clearly breaking the mold. And this wasn't just limited to the men on the right or the manosphere or in modern day Gamergate. I also found this from some of the pick-me right-wing women as well, holding Erika Ishii to the same standards.
What are we doing here, people? my name is Sydney. Welcome back to hell. And as per usual, before we launch in, today's video is sponsored by HelloFresh. The lead actress slash protagonist being Erika Ishii, who is gay and very active in the LGBT community, has expressed interest in people using all pronouns for her, so I don't know, I guess she's like gender fluid or something like that, and really hates Trump supporters. This, of course, has led to a lot of criticism and concern. So with this in mind, the writer of this article expresses that the hate for Ghost of Yotei is baseless and unnecessary if it's entirely based on Ishii's personal sentiments. He writes, the game exists independently of their personal life, and that boundary should be respected. Ah, I see we're doing a they-them thing. How progressive.
Now, I need to talk about millennial cringe. I mean, I'm not trying to say I'm funny, I am not cringy, or I'm not millennial. I am cringy millennial and I embrace this. But there is something about the atmosphere of this video and this creator on the right wing that just gives fake to me. You know what I mean? Like, I can make a few jokes and I can be cringe and I can joke around and I can watch it and editing and be like, girl, this didn't land, but I'm gonna throw it and I don't care. This creator, what was her name? Sandra or something? Editing me will know, but cringe, like fake cringe. It's doing it for the grift, doing it for the HelloFresh sponsorship, and I don't believe what I'm saying right now, you know?
You know, when I see this kind of thing, it makes me really curious about the motivation behind referring to somebody as a they-them when they've expressly stated that they're perfectly fine being called a woman and having people use female pronouns. Why do you pick the weird thing?
No, not this time. It's totally made up.
Stop trying to make non-binary happen. It's not going to happen.
Stop trying to make fetch happen. It's not going to happen.
I won't lie, I do miss the days when she's were she's and he's were he's and theys were a collective group of people. Stop this.
The stop trying to make non-binary a thing, Mean Girls joke reference, like, girl, what are you doing? What are you doing? And also the irony, obviously we have to make light of how on the right, for a woman to be a pick-me and say, like, I don't believe in feminism, I don't believe in freedom, it's like, well, you are sitting in front of a camera and making money, and unless you have your husband behind you that's going to take all that money Andrew Tate style, you are being a little bit of a hypocrite by not allowing others to have the rights that you clearly are benefiting from, lady. So I do have a harsher critique for the double standard of some of the pick-me's, the Leopards Won't Eat My Face group on the right, that are also just as critical.
More often than not, when someone is aggressively left-wing especially, that tends to make its way into the entertainment that they're creating. They almost see it as their primary objective to be this political in everything else that they do. And then they get really mad when they realize that the vast majority of people probably don't agree with them and then express that disagreement on the internet. I don't know, you'd think they would have learned by now.
One of the critiques on the right was how the politics of Erika Ishii must be bleeding into the works that they do and the games that they work on. And I find this really hilarious, as of course it does, and I think it should, as someone that is in similar vein to how Erika Ishii appears to believe politically.
Ishii has made statements about abolishing the police and essentially said that those who support Trump also support fascism, racism, and homophobia. Wow, very original. Haven't heard that one before. And then everyone clapped. Ooh, wow, so clever! And once again, even if we disagree with Ishii's viewpoints, and even if we assume that she's changed some of her positions since 2020 when these tweets were made, which is obviously very unlikely, but I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt, it is correct to say that her opinions and personal beliefs largely shouldn't play a role in the entertainment that she creates. But the likelihood of that actually being the case is unfortunately extremely slim.
In spite of the modern-day Gamergate right-wing attempts to belittle the brilliance that is Erika Ishii, I am going to be highlighting some of the better parts of their character and what they've done in their career and how just legendarily beautiful they are as a person. In fact, to spin it on its head, one of the things I like most about Erika Ishii is that he is not scared to be loud. That kind of makes sense. Someone that works at Dropout, I feel like the entire cast, probably the first question on the interview to working there has been like, how many decibels can you reach? How loud can you be? And if there's anything under a certain amount, they're like, you're not going to work. You're not going to fit in here.
In an elaborate castle fencing scene, it's Erika Ishii.
Back name! Back beyond the keep! Ha
They're all here to make some noise!
Erika Ishii is not scared to shout and be loud and take up space. I think that that's brilliant. I do. I really do. I think that that's necessary, and I think that it counteracts the stereotype that women are quiet and petite, or femme-presenting people are quiet and petite. But what I think is an amazing example of how the politics of Erika Ishii and the surrounding, network that they're a part of bleeds into the characters. It's like, well, that's kind of obvious. For example, in The Seven, the character that Erika Ishii plays is this kind of like chill, stonery druid character who is overtly, anti-establishment, anti-capitalism, and anarchistic in many ways, in very good ways.
How to implement real change, and real change never happens without outliers and groups that are willing to go the extra mile to shake things up, right? None of this middle of the road nonsense, right? So things are going real well when I heard there had to be sort of sacrifices, which look, I'm the first one to know you gotta have sacrifices for the cause, but it was just not, it was a kind of harsh vibe, man. So all the stuff about the evil, that all came out later, and that's not great. That's not great. So I kind of fell off the bandwagon.
And I should also say, in The Seven, there's fantastic trans representation, not only in the character choices of the campaign itself, but also in the cast. I will probably do another video about that. Let me know if you want to see the kind of trans representation in Dropout and its entire media broadcasting network, because I would love to talk about that. But let me know in the comments if that's something you'd like to see.
My favorite Dimension 20 campaign, The Seven, which was DM'd by Brenly Mulligan and was played by a bunch of feral women who were all aggressively besties with each other. And we still have the group chat going, even 4 years later, 4 years later. I died. Hang on. We're gonna cut these parts out, right?
In Magic and Misfits, Erika Ishii plays this amazing character that's like an online, starts as like an online anonymous kind of character in forums and everything, and then that branches out into being a powerful witch in the witchy world that is the Magic and Misfits universe.
Erika Ishii.
Hi, I'm Erika Ishii, and I'm playing XX Broken Dream XX, aka Dream.
And aside from the work that, uses Erika Ishii's voice or where they play a character, in the majority of the episodes of Dropout that they're a part of, the game show elements, he just says what he thinks about his opinions, and that's usually quite left-leaning. I mean, it just seems silly to me that that's a critique on the right. It's like, you must not know the situation of this network of left-leaning politics and media. Of course his politics comes out into that. That's the whole point. That's her character. That's why he is who they are.
We returned from Narnia, but it turned one of us Republican.
We're back at Professor Diggory's.
What an adventure it's been. It's like no time has passed at all.
My God, and there's the wardrobe. We need to build a wall.
What?
And I will say, I think there is an irony to this, because the right wing are the first to say they want to put their politics in media. They want to give younger children, for example, more media that tells them of their Christian values, of their conservative values, and they are the first to cry out when the opposite is done on the left. Take, for example, PragerU and the PragerU Child channel. That's just indoctrination of children, but it's fine when the right does it, of course. Whereas Ishii and the entire Dropout franchise is a lovely, soft way of just having inclusivity and diversity without necessarily having to throw it down everyone's throats and teach what diversity means. I don't think I've ever heard once on the Dropout platform or any of the shows accordingly, the definitions of what diversity means or why we must be inclusive or why trans rights are rights. It's just a naturally softly done thing. And I think that's why it's brilliant and it's easy to watch. It doesn't come across false like some of the right-wing channels that are just using the latest talking points in the news from Fox and Trump. It comes across genuine because actually diversity and inclusivity is effortless, and that's the whole point. It's natural. I also personally love the character that Erika Ishii plays in Escape the Blood Keep. She plays this like epic big spider woman, and I'm quite scared of spiders, especially living in rural Japan, but I love how this allegedly evil character comes out to just be a really family orientated, like fantastic single mom, and it's just a very cleverly trope spun on its head.
Mom, can we come in?
Mom, we need 5 minutes, please.
Okay.
That's what that whole series is about. It's about making out the villains to just give them a story, and they end up becoming less evil per se, because good and evil is a bit of a social construct, and it's not quite as simple as that. People are always doing what they consider to be the right thing, and so just classing another group of people as good or evil can be either lazy or quite dangerous, I would say. But yeah, Escape the Blood Keep, one of my favourites, one of the first I watched of the franchise, and she plays an amazing character there.
Some of the orcs in the webs are getting super liquid. Can we eat early?
Just help yourselves. You're big boys and girls now.
Okay. By the way, some of the treasure out here, Russ and Jason are playing with it, and
That's fine. Tell them to distribute it amongst some of the teenagers.
So they do have to share, right?
Yes, they have to share. Sharing is caring. You all know this.
Okay, love you, Mom.
But enough about Dropout for a second. Let's talk about Ghost of Yotei and their other work. In a Variety interview, Erika Ishii talks about the past work he's done and how that ranges from working on Dropout, the voiceover stuff, as well as their podcast, which sprung out from one of the Magic and Misfits Dimension 20 stories.
Hi, my name is Erika Ishii, and I'll be playing through Ghost of Yotei, where I play Atsu, the Ghost of Yotei.
And it's here that I think we get a really fantastic, almost summary of everything that Erika has done.
Favorite characters that I've voiced other than Atsu? I would say that Valkyrie from Apex Legends was a huge role for me. And I think that a lot of other people, especially Asian American femmes, were glad to see a character be kind of gross. This is wild. God, this is beautiful. So I went up to Hokkaido after I wrapped shooting to finally get to see all of the things that I'd been hearing about and talking about for almost 3 years. And some of my favorite places to visit up there were I was in onsen more often than not.
Ghost of Yotei to me looks so beautiful as a game. As someone that's not played it myself, as much as I love gaming, just financially I can't keep up with all the new releases, I do find it to be such a beautiful story and game from everything I've seen of it. And I think it's fantastic that we have this female protagonist, Atsu, even in this modern day of 2026, where you would assume having a female character is non-controversial. Doing so still now gets the backlash, which does mean it is controversial, if that makes sense. Now, as we saw from some of the clips earlier in the right wing, there was pushback on buying the game because they assume it's going to be woke and lib shit, so they're not going to buy it. Now, there's a word for that we call it's a boycott. Now, of course, there can be a difference of boycotting a game, actively not buying it to avoid money going to wrong hands, but okay, it's adjacent at least. Not buying a game because you don't believe in its political values is pretty much the same thing. And I find it kind of ironic because I'm sure this is at least the Venn diagram, similar kind of network of people that had such a lot to say about boycotting Hogwarts Legacy because of J.K. Rowling's transphobia, and how there was an outcry of like, don't boycott games, that's stupid. And yet we're seeing the same thing with Ghosts of Yotei. Don't platform this game, don't buy this game, I don't want it, it's going to be lib shit, it has a female protagonist in this modern day era. Bear in mind, I grew up on Final Fantasy where they had a female protagonist, Terra, in Final Fantasy, someone's going to tell me 6? Maybe, yeah, Final Fantasy 6. But like, I grew up to Lightning in Final Fantasy 13 being a female protagonist, and it being, to my understanding, not that controversial. So now having a female protagonist in Ghosts of Yotei being a controversy, to me, it just shows that there's either a backswing to older conservative times, but also like desperation almost in the form of outcry. Like, these aren't real problems people are moaning about. And speaking of J.K. Rowling's transphobia, a little quick plug for my own videos. I've just done a series talking about everything transphobic that J.K. Rowling did. It's like a few episodes long, but in each one I do a different year. Go and check it out if you want to. I'm really proud of that series. It took an enormous amount of work, and it just gives an encyclopedic like breakdown of everything she did, so that she can't later change the narrative, which it sounds like she's starting to do by kind of backtracking some of her transphobia. So go and check it out to hold her accountable. There's this wonderful footage of Ishii going to Hokkaido where the game was set and looking at the scenery and experiencing it themselves, and I just find that to be so wholesome and so genuine again, which is something that we can do on the left. It doesn't have to be forced. It doesn't have to be sorted into the depictions of who we should be based on archaic ideas. We can experience new things and embrace other cultures and pay respects to those things. Like, there's a difference between cultural appreciation and cultural appropriation, which people often, sometimes purposefully, pretend they don't understand the difference of.
Ashiyu. Ashiyu. Ah, yeah.
A lot more dressed than I'm used to being in an onsen.
It's okay. It's just the beat. Ah.
So in the game, you can see Lake Toya and the island, but being here at Lake Toya and seeing the reflection of Mount Yotei in the water was what inspired the Sucker Punch developers who visited here to set the game in Hokkaido.
So to sum up, it's clear that from the right wing's perspective, they see people as how they want to see them. Now that sounds really simplistic and that sounds really obvious, like, yeah, all right, Louise, great groundbreaking analysis on major archetype. But what I mean by that is there is an instantaneous judgment made by how they foresee Erika Ishii, because they are female presenting. Not only do they consider their gender to be woman in the small box that they create only two genders over on the right, which must be quite frustrating, I'm sure, but they also then attach a whole bunch of characteristics and stereotypes of what a woman should be onto a person that doesn't even want to agree to that role anyway. So it's double-barreled stupidity and unfair on Ishii. At the end of the day, let Erika be the gender demon that they deserve to be. I mean, he's rocking it in every single sense of the word. And I can't help but also take a hint of this like hypersexualization of usually petite Asian female people, and especially for men on the right, that we see in general. There is this link to hypersexuality with generally Asian women or Eastern women, and this Orientalism, which is quite a dangerous trope to also fall into. Of especially, I see it a lot as someone that lives in Japan. You get these two kind of people that come here from the West, and my husband, who works as an English teacher, meets these kind of people every day. You get the people that come out here to experience Japanese culture, to maybe live out here for a while, maybe a longer time. Some people come with a partner, some people come, and they find a partner here naturally. That's all well and good. We obviously fall in this category. My husband and I came out here together. But then you also get, predominantly, it's the white guys. I'm going to just generalize for a second, but it's not just that. There are other white girls that do the same thing for Japanese men, or like recently Korean men, but they get lost on the way apparently for the ones we meet. But they come out here in an attempt to find a partner, and there is this trope of white guys usually, or just anyone trying to find a partner out here, that Japanese women are going to be by nature more submissive, more agreeable, more likely to agree, and want a strong, a foreigner husband that can take control of their lives. And that's, I think, very dangerous, as well as just disgusting. But it's very dangerous when you consider that, like, on the base level, that gets into very dangerous territory with issues of like consent and language barrier and just coming out here for a partner that you believe is going to be more submissive. It's like, grow the fuck up. Stop looking for a mum. Try and find a partner. That's why none of you are happy, and there's this men loneliness epidemic. Stop treating people inferior to you. Treat them like equals. But also, the idea that a single nation of people can be a certain type of character is also very closely linked to the idea of like white supremacy and eugenics. And just because you are a race doesn't mean you're a type of person. That depends entirely on nurturing and upbringing and stuff like that. So to come out and expect Japanese women or Japanese people in general to be more agreeable, is racist as shit, but it's also wrong. And anyone that actually understands Japanese culture understands very much so that there are cultural norms and there's etiquette, but people are just the absolute same underneath that. I went to university in Tokyo. Trust me, on a Friday night, I've seen Japanese men pissing in the streets just as much as I have living in London and Soho. And it also should be said, especially when we're talking about someone that helps create media, that people on the right still want to benefit from the creation of this media, the games, the VO, the TV. They want to benefit from the culture and the progression that being progressive brings, but they still want to keep the people that make it in a box and prevent them from expressing themselves. And that paradox, that juxtaposition, is innately why it's such a contradictory side to be on. You can't expect everyone to be a certain type of way and live in a box and then also create the wonderful art and media that we live and enjoy today. Games like Ghost of Yotei exist because we have people creating them. Even Call of Duty, allegedly, that Erika Ishii played the voice in, is built on the backs of creative types. And there's no secret that, you know, we get so much culture from the LGBTQI plus community, from majority non-white cultures and communities that share their art and have got more talent and skills in certain ways. And I would be remiss to also leave out the fact that Erika Ishii is just so cool as a person. To leave everything aside for a second, I can only imagine how many young children or younger adults are looking up to Erika Ishii as a role model based on having similarities they see with themselves, whether that be being gender fluid or being from, you know, the same heritage that Erika Ishii has. I just can't help but be happy to know that there are certain people out there that will benefit from seeing someone like Ishii out there and having a way to relate to them. And that really fills my heart. It really does. And so I think that a lot of predominantly cis white men that are used to having all of the protagonists in the same kind of character as they are just used to that being the standard, where everyone else obviously isn't. And when that standard gets taken away from their perception, they're losing something, and suddenly they can't relate to their protagonist in a game. They can't in every way see themselves as the hero in the story. That's, to them, from their perception, being taken away from them, but to everyone else's perception, it's a privilege they always had. That's quite literally why we call it privilege, because they're not even aware of the odds being lent in their favour by growing up and only ever seeing yourself as the hero and never the villain. No wonder we are in the situation that we're in. I think I'm going to wrap it up there. Thank you so much for sticking around to the end. Now, if you like this, stop what you're doing. Get back in your chair, click on my account and click on the Brennan Lee Mulligan video. You're going to love it, even more so. And let me know in the comments who else you want me to cover, because I'm very good at dunking on shitty people and talking about the bad people. But every so often, I think it's nice to bring some positivity in the world and talk about the good things happening around us as well, because God knows we need it in this time and day. So let me know who else you want me to cover, who are some of your favourites. Predominantly, I'm going to probably surround in the Dropout cast because it's the single subscription that we can afford. That's not even a lie. Oh, also, a personal thing. I bought the first piece of clothing that I have bought in, I'm going to say, over a year. Now, some of you are going to be calling bullshit, and I don't blame you. Go and check out all of my videos, all right? I cycle through about 5 different outfits, and I have to really get creative, okay? We haven't had much money, but for the first time, I was able to buy a top. This was 800 yen, which if you can work out that monetarily, it's like £4 or like $6 US dollars, and your girl bought a new top, okay? So this is a big deal for me, okay? Things are getting better around here. So yeah, I just thought you may have even noticed, like, oh my God, she's wearing something different. What happened? Yeah, and that's my news, okay? Life's great right now. I'm very lucky. So anyway, have a wonderful day. Thank you for watching to the end. Take care of yourselves. And if you haven't already, subscribe down below, okay? Please. We hit 10,000 subscribers. Thank you so much. But I feel like we should be higher up, you know? So subscribe if you want to, if you like this content, if you want to see more. Love to you. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.